Saints. Today I'm going to share the story of the son of Ahab, that is King Jehoram, together with his brother-in-law Jehoshaphat, and a king from Edom. Now, when Ahab died, that we are going to find this in the book of 2 Kings chapter 3, moving forward. So we notice when King Jehoshaphat died, his eldest son Jehoram took over the reign and became king over the land, king of Israel. And his brother-in-law, King Jehoshaphat, who was loved by God, was reigning or ruling over the kingdom of Judah. So in this particular period, we realize that Moab, because of the long, when they were overthrown earlier, they were paying the taxes to the kingdom of Israel. So when King Ahab died, this nation bolted away. The nation of Moab bolted away. In other words, rebelled against the kingdom of Israel, and that meant they would no longer pay taxes. Therefore, Jehoram approached his brother-in-law, King Jehoshaphat, and told him what has happened, and asked him to help him regain the reign over kingdom of Moab by attacking them. So Jehoshaphat willingly agreed, and he brought in a backup from his friend, the king of Edom, and from the nation of Edomites, and therefore the three formed a very powerful tripartite alliance. So therefore they went ahead and went against the kingdom of Moab. The army of these three kings journeyed for 3 days. Unfortunately, they ran out of water, and it was a dry season. There were no rivers, the rivers had dried, and they ran out of water. And you know, in the army, they require a lot of water for the animals, for themselves, for the army, and even for cooking. Therefore, the three kings said, "Wow, the Lord has led us into a trap, and therefore we can easily be attacked." And so you realize that after traveling for 7 days, that is a week, they ran out of water, and it was really a disaster. And they cried out, saying, "The Lord had taken the three of them to deliver them to the enemy, Moab." Then Jehoshaphat inquired from his brother-in-law, saying, "Do we have a man of God in this place?" And they said, "Yes, there is one Elisha who used to wash the hands, poor hands, in the hands of Elijah," in other words, assistant of Elijah, and he was living somewhere near there. So the three kings visited Elisha in his abode. And Jehoram spoke first, because he was the host, and told the prophet they had run out of water and they were in danger. So Elisha rebuked the king, asking him to go back to the gods of his father and mother, because you know they had turned the people of Israel into idol worship. They started to worship Asherah, the Baal. The king Jehoram, responding to the prophet, said to him, "God had delivered the three kings to the hands of the enemy." Elisha told the king, had it not been for Jehoshaphat, a man loved by God, he would not have even spoken to him. They offered grain offering at the night, they offered grain offering, and at that night the valley was filled with water which came from Edom. This matter was simple to God. Water just flowed in quietly from Edom. The Moabite had received a report that they were being attacked by an oncoming army from Jehoram and Jehoshaphat and the others. So they had assembled their army in defense and placed them at their border. Now, in the morning when they woke up, the sun was very early in the morning. The sun rose and it lit the water, and it reflected a red color. So the people of Moab said, "Oh, this enemy at night became they turned against each other and butchered themselves." And therefore what they were seeing was the blood which was flowing in the valley, because they were rightfully thinking, because there had never been any rain, and by seeing the pool of water in a dry riverbed, they knew definitely these people had killed themselves and there was no one alive. So the Moabites rushed to the valley to take the spoils, that is the arrows, bows, and whatever the army was carrying. But they were ambushed because the people were just on the hill, and they came down upon them, and they were all killed. None of them remained. So therefore, we notice, as I summarize this discussion, that there had been a death of the former king Jehoshaphat, and the son took over as king. Then there was the rebellion, where Moab, who had been governed by Israel for many years, were responsible for paying taxes to the to the king's treasury, and therefore by rebelling, Moab therefore meant they would no longer pay the taxes or remit the taxes to the king. And therefore, by so doing, Israel will not be able to implement their country's development projects, which were relying entirely on the taxes paid by the Moabites. And the king therefore had to seek for immediate remedial action, and therefore he had to seek a backup to attack Moab, which was a huge army, and to bring them under his rule again, for them to continue remitting taxes. He was lucky though, because King Jehoshaphat was a man of his kin. He had actually married his sister, so it was easy to convince him to come out and support him. On the other hand, Jehoshaphat had a friend, the king of Edom, and therefore they were really able to mobilize a huge army, so that they can form a very powerful armed coalition to face the Moab. The important process, they forgot the important process of seeking God's approval for their attack. They didn't even consult the prophets of God, so that they could tell them, but merely because this son had been turned away by worshipping idols. Therefore, by going out without consulting God's servant, they trusted in their strength of the army, and they also ran out of the water, which is an important resource for their for the horses. Horses need plenty of water. The army needed water for drinking and for their cooking. Without water, all the instruments of war were extremely weakened. The kings realized this and were therefore knew they were destined for destruction. So a man who feared the Lord, that is Jehoshaphat, inquired whether they would consult a servant of God in the nearby for their faith. So God prophet Elisha, we see him talking to the tribe, the three kings. And the prophet was really unwilling to talk to the king of Israel because of their history, their sinful way, the way they had turned people away from God and worshipped God. But Jehoram knew this, and he cleverly invoked the presence of Jehoshaphat and reminded the prophet that even the king who pleased the Lord was endangering himself and his army. So Elisha yielded and sought God's intervention, and therefore Elisha informed Jehoram, had it not been for Jehoshaphat, he would not have attended to him at all. So he called for a musician to play a harp to him, to the prophet. And when he did so, the Lord spoke to the prophet, saying, "This was a little matter before the Lord." And instantly the army received plenty of water for them and for their animals. So God laid a bait before the enemy camp. There had been no rain over the season. It was a dry spell, and in the entire land was dry. And even during that night, there was no water, but of course water came along the valley during that night from the neighborhood. Moab were aware of an approaching army, and they therefore assembled at their border to scuttle the invading army. And when they woke up in the morning, and when the sun lit the water, the reflection of the water was red, which appeared like blood. And that is when they were looking at it from the direction of Moab. So they easily concluded that the enemy had attacked themselves, and hence reason for the flowing flood, the full of blood in the valley. In excitement, they rushed to the camp to take possession of the enemy camp: horses, cattle, wheat flour, honey, raisins, gold, whatever. Yes, gold, silver, bronze, all those things. And on rushing, they were therefore killed, and all of them died. So the enemy camp, the King Jehoshaphat and the King Jehoram and his team had a easy victorious way, and they were able therefore to destroy the army of Moab and restore the rulership over Moab, and therefore the country of Moab continued paying taxes. So in this victory we see that God is faithful to his children who live in holiness. He readily answers their prayers and provides all their needs. So Christians, we need to trust in God, just as Jehoram and his team, when it was vindicated, or rather because God answered over because of Jehoshaphat, we see them winning the war easily and overcoming the enemy. So similarly, when we are living in this world, we need to be loyal to God, faithful to God, and we shall easily be able to achieve all the needs we want, all the journeys, all temptation, all the challenges we can be able to overcome them, because God alone is able to fight for us. So may God bless you as you continue listening to our channel. If this is your first time to appear in our channel, we request you to like it, share, and press the subscribe button, and hit the bell, so that each time we upload a new one, the YouTube would be able to notify you automatically. May God bless you. Thank you for watching this channel, and please come again and again and share it to your friends, so that they will also be blessed through the teaching